move. MashaAllah. I still feel old. No, it's fine. No problem. قال الله عز وجل. أنا عرفت الآن إيش معنى تؤذن في ملطة. الآن قال الله عز وجل وقال لهم نبيهم. We stopped with the story of Jalut and Talut, and we said they went from 800 to 80,000, and then they dropped down to 12,000. So we are at 12,000 right now. Okay, so 12,000 are going with Talut on this war. Okay. قال وقال لهم نبيهم إن آية ملكه أن يأتيكم التابوت فيه سكينة من ربكم. One of you guys check our Facebook, see if it's live and the sound. He said, now we have a sign. Yeah, you know, we're a little old. I'll start using Instagram, inshallah, too. I just need somebody to set it up. So he said their prophet told them, إن آية ملكه, that the sign of his kingdom, meaning that Allah has chosen him to be your king, أن يأتيكم التابوت فيه سكينة, that you will have the casket, okay, and it will come with tranquility. من ربكم وبقية مما ترك آل موسى, and it also will carry on in this casket belongings that belong to the people of Musa, or to the Musa and Harun, and the angels will carry it. First of all, Bani Israel, we already said their biggest problem is what? They don't believe in the unseen. You have to show me something for me to believe. Even when you show him something, he doesn't believe. Okay? قالوا أرنا الله جهرة اجعل لنا إلها كما لهم آلهة. They want to see Allah. Why do they worship a seen God and we don't? So here, that's why every prophet came with a message from what people believe in. Okay? Every prophet had something that is a miracle. Rasulullah ﷺ had the Quran because it's the most fluent of a language that the people of his time spoke of. So Bani Israel wants to see something with their own eyes to believe. So he said that a casket will come. I want to mention to you something here. In the Quran, when you're reading Quran, this is very important to look at. Every time you hear something in the Quran that Allah mentions and defines, it always carries a value. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala skips the incident, then it doesn't have any value. مثلا, Adam, he ate from the tree. Yes? Did Allah define which tree? No? So it doesn't matter. Okay? Musa alayhi salam, when he was a baby, his mother put him in the basket. فَقْذِفِيهِ فِي التَّابُوتِ, to put him into the tabut. Here, Allah said, وَقَالَ لَهُمْ نَبِيٌّ إِنَّ آيَةَ مُلْكِهِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَكُمُ التَّابُوتُ فِيهِ سَكِينَةٌ. So tabut here could be the same casket that Musa alayhi salam was saved in. Okay? So they brought that. It had the stick of Musa for sure, because they used to keep these things as a reminder that Allah turned into a snake. Things that belongs to the family of Musa and Harun. Now, fihi sakina, also it has a statue that is made like a cat, a head of a cat with the body of a different animal or a human being. That's a sakina. He had his sakina. Sakina doesn't mean tranquility, even though that's the meaning of it. فيه سكينة من ربكم وبقية. قال تحمله الملائكة. Now the angels are going to carry it to you. When you see a basket being carried by angel, what do you see? Just a basket. So this, to them, they don't know what's going on. So it gives them more what? It's convincing them more that this is the right sign that you're waiting for. So seeing a basket flying by itself, coming all the way to the house of Talut, sitting right there in front of his house, that's a sign that this person is chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why the ayah before, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاللَّهُ يُؤْتِي مُلْكَهُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah gives his kingdom to whom he wills. Okay? قال فلما فصل طالوت بالجنود ولما ولا فلما فصل طالوت بالجنود. Now, when they divided the army into groups, قال, now he said, إن الله مبتليكم بنهر. And this is very important for all of us right now. He said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing you. مبتليكم, the word bala means a test. And don't think a test is always bad. No, that's not true. A test of Allah could be for many reasons. Okay? One of them is that Allah is testing a person because of his sins. Whatever he's doing, he might be doing things that are wrong. So Allah is testing him, giving him more punishment or warning or leading him to be a good person. Mashi, that's one way to look at it. But what could be a positive way to look at a test? Anybody? Stop playing. Okay. Anybody? What could be a good way to look at the test? مالك انت ومال الباب ده؟ شغلك انت الباب. ها؟ So to prevent you from something that you were gonna fall in that is bigger to lead to you to more harm to you. Okay, huh? Allah loves you that you have been promised a rank that you cannot get with your own actions. Okay, He wants to teach you a lesson. Huh? What could be another mean of a test? Why are we being tested? To forgive previous sins that you have committed, so the future is all clean and clear. To raise your rank in Jannah higher than what you're capable of. So a test is not always what? A test. Yani a test is not all. For example, why do we get a test in school? So you could pass. See, if you look at the test this way, if you say, oh, we got a test today so I could pass and get an A, then I'll become a doctor. So looking at the test as Allah is giving me this test to do what? To pass. Allah wants me to pass, not to fail. So that's a lot of people, if we understand the ideology of testing, it helps us. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu قال عجبا لأمر المؤمن إن أمره كله له خير. He said the matter of the believer is always good for him, whether he's tested with good or evil. If he's tested with good, he is thankful to Allah. If he's tested with evil or bad, he is patient and thankful to Allah. So do you understand the concept now? So he said, Inna Allah is testing you binahar, with a river. فَمَنْ شَرِبَ مِنْهُ, whoever drinks from it, فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي, he's not going to follow me. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَطْعَمْ, and a person who doesn't take إِلَّا, except a handful, just a handful, then he will follow me. Now, these people are going to fight. They're going to face their enemy. Most likely they are very thirsty, or else it wouldn't be a test. And all of this, their leader is saying, Talut is saying to them, listen, we're going to cross by the river right now. On the other side, there's Jalut, okay, and his followers. So if you pass this river without drinking, then you win. You pass the test. If you take a handful of water and you drink, that's fine. More than that, you fail. Now, how could we learn from that? In our life, we pass through a lot of tests. And sometimes we take more from that water than what we need. So this river in your life could be what? Anybody know? Anybody want to give? What is this river representing to us? Huh? Luxury, desires. When you pass by a river in your life and you take a lot from it, you're failing. If you take some and pass on, there's a chance to come back easily. But the problem is these people right here, they're 8,000, they're 12,000 chosen to be the best of people. And now the small test that they pass by, they can't even get it. So they said, فَشَرِبُوا مِنْهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا مِنْهُمْ. Now, we went from 800 to 80,000. Now we dropped to 12,000. When they came by the last test, the one before the last, Allah said to them, their king said, don't drink, or else you'll drop. They dropped down from 12,000 to 800. Huh? That's it. Okay? 800. Now, what matters is never the quantity. We all know that. They always say it's what? The quality. It's true. We sometimes say, oh man, we cannot change anything. We can't do it. I'll tell you guys, I'll tell you, brothers and sisters, small, because they're here now, Shazil and Sayyidan. We went to Umrah together, yeah? Everybody told us, and I'll tell you right now, it's impossible to keep the group together. Yes, our first Umrah was impossible. We were 280 people. Okay, we were like sheeps all over the place. You look for this brother, he's already by the Kaaba. Somebody's jumping over they want to kiss the Kaaba from behind, I don't know, they want to fly from the sky. So we got separated. Second Umrah, four brothers, okay, leading a group of almost 180 people. They just knew what to do. So if you say only 3 people are going to control that, yeah, well, we had 280, nobody was controlling them. Only 3. But the focus is known. We know what we want to do. We know what we want to achieve. Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim, same situation. They never cared about the number. When they came in Hunayn, 30,000, قالوا اليوم لا نهزم من قلة. Now today mashallah, we are 30,000. Before we were like 300-400 people. Now we're 30,000. They were defeated. So we win when we're 300, but we're defeated when 30,000? Yeah, because you look back to your number. It's not about the number. You were 300 you carried iman in your heart that no one did. Al-Miqdad ibn Amr, Rasulullah, when he looked at him, he was on his horse, and Umar looked at him and he's like, mashallah, he's all dressed up for war. And they used to tie this red, what do you guys call it? The bandana thing. Yeah, you guys wear it now to look cool or to look like a gangster. Okay, they wear it to scare the enemy, and not like you guys. Same thing. You guys are the same. You're using the same tools, but for different reasons. Anyway, so what happened to them? You know what? When he looked at Al-Miqdad, you know what he said? قال المقداد رجل بألف. He said Al-Miqdad is equal to 1,000. So if you have Al-Miqdad in an army, the number of an army you always add what? 1,000. One person? Yes. Yes. Abu Dujana came, قال يا رسول الله, let me show them my strength today. He wear his red, bandana. Yeah, you like that. Yeah. They used to wear it in a cool way. And he was running around, showing up his muscles. So Umar said, أكبر هو? Is this out of arrogance? قال لا. Rasulullah said, لا. اليوم يحب الله ذلك. Today Allah loves to see that. Allah wants to see your, because you're going to fight your enemy. You can't hold the sibha and be like, astaghfirullah, stuff. This is not the time to do that. This is the time to show your strength. The strength of iman is more important. So what happened? Out of the 12,000, we only have 800 left. So the rest, they drank from the water. A lot of us in our life, we do drink from water. From water of desires and temptations. We don't pass the test, even though we are considered to be in that elite group. طيب, what's with you guys in the door? طيب. قال فلما جاوزه هو والذين آمنوا معه. Look at the specification of the Quran. When they passed the river, him and the believers, they are what now? Number كم? 800. خلاص? آمنوا معه. Look at the word that Allah, first time Allah is using the word what? آمنوا. Yeah? In the rest, معه, معه, معه. With him, with him, with him. This time he said, when he passed it with the believers, طيب. And then they saw Jalut and his people. قالوا لا طاقة لنا اليوم بجالوت وجنود. Another test. They said, we cannot handle these people. Up to now, you passed the first test, which is what? Anybody remember what was the first test? Allah sent Talut. A lot of people failed because they want to be at the front. And this is another issue that maybe there's no time to highlight it, but also in our life. If we're not at the front, we don't do the work. Yeah, you see it a lot. I saw it. I'm talking about my experience in my field only. Okay, if a person is not giving a title, the job is not done. You could pass by the masjid, you see bottles of waters, okay, empty. If I'm not the president, I'm not going to pick it up. But what about the treasurer? You're like a president, has to be. طيب pick it up, throw it to the garbage. It's the masjid. I work only if I'm at the front, if I'm recognized. That's another issue. So that's why Rasulullah used to encourage the Sahaba to do what? Voluntarily work. Why? Because it trains you to humble yourself down. You're volunteer. So you're like everybody else. Like if they don't call you out, I'm still working. If somebody, sometime you come together to do something as a volunteer work, somebody says something to you. We're human beings. They might throw a word out there. You'll be like, "Khalas, I'm done." Why? Just because of that? Khalid ibn al-Walid radiallahu anhu, he was the leader of all the armies from the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So he's the leader means what? Front, back. Where is he? Front of the front. Umar al-Khattab said, step down for Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah to conquest Damascus. And he sent him a letter. In the middle of the battle, in the middle of the war, he's a leader now. When he took the letter of Umar where it says you need to step down for Abu Ubaidah to lead, Khalid could have done one of two things. He could say what? Throw it to the garbage, man. We're fighting. Who cares? I'm the leader. I won all the way. 20,000 battles. This is the loss. Now you want me to step down? So the victory at the end is always giving to the lost leader. Now you want Abu Ubaidah? Or Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu could have done the same thing, hide the letter till they finish and then give it to Khalid. No, they went to Khalid. Khalid, Umar is asking you to step down. He stepped down. He became one of the soldiers and he was working harder than what he was doing when he was a leader. فقال عمر رضي الله عنه أرضاه يأبى خالد إلا أن يكون أميرا. He said Khalid wants to always be a leader. So if you put him as a leader position, he is a leader. If you put him as a soldier, he is a leader, not a soldier. And if you put him all the way in the back of the army, he is a leader. So they told him, aren't you really sad of what Umar did to you? قال إني لا أفتح الشام لعمر إنما أفتحها لله. He said, I'm not conquesting Damascus for Umar. I'm doing it for Allah. So it doesn't matter which position am I holding in the army. Today in the Ummah, which position are we in? We act upon where we at. And this is a defect. This is a big problem that needs sincerity and ikhlas. So now they dropped down to 800. When they saw Jalut and his people, قالوا لا طاقة لنا اليوم. They said, no, we cannot handle them today. Okay? We cannot really control, we can't defeat them. So they dropped down to 313 people. This number reminds you of what? Badr. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إني في حديث البراء قال إني لأذكر أصحاب طالوت كأصحاب بدر. I remember the people of Talut like the people of Badr. 313 people. Now, just think of this. 300 are now the elite. Among them, a 16 years old, whom Allah is going to mention very soon right now. 16-year-old, he's passing through all the tests. So it's not about age either. Those young people right now that I'm telling you guys, don't sit next to the wall because your back hurts at age 15, 16. I'm not joking about it. That's the problem. Okay? When you stand in the salah and you complain that the sheikh is going long because we're reading 1.5 pages, that's a problem. If you cannot stand straight in salah, I see all of you guys, most of you, I'm not going to pick on anybody, right? No, nobody. Everybody does that. You see them in the ruku', uqsim billah is like an 80-year-old praying next to you. They can't even straighten their knees. Sahih wallahi. You feel like, what's this? And you see some of our elders, Jazakumullah khairan, they're praying in the first row, 20 rak'ah sometime. What's wrong with you guys? That's a 16-year-old. Dawood alayhi salam, who became the prophet and the king later on, he was in that army. He passed test 1, 800,000. Then they dropped down to 80,000, he passed. They dropped down to 12,000, he was still in the army. They dropped down to 800, he's still in the army. They dropped down to 300, Dawood is at the front, 16-year-old at that time. He was not a prophet back then. Nobody knew he would become a king. And his son Sulaiman would take over too as a king. Nobody knew him. But he's doing what? He's passing the test. He's saying to himself, I'm going to pass. This is a test from Allah. I'm not going to fail. We sometimes fail at the first test. And we're able to pass. And Allah would not put obstacles in our ways for us to fail. He wants us to pass. That's the point. So they dropped down. قال الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقوا الله كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله والله مع الصابرين ولما برزوا لجالوت وجنوده قالوا ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين فهزموهم بإذن الله وقتل داود جالوت. Look at the end of this story now. 300, they said, oh Allah, strengthen our heart, keep us firm, give us victory. We trust that we will return to you. So regardless, if we die, كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, إذا مت, if I die, I will die as a shaheed. And if I gain victory, then I win. So in both cases, I am winning. That's what the Sahabi said. Both ways. So they told him how. He said either victory in dunya or Jannah. There's no third option for me. This is the only two options. I win or I get to Jannah. What happens after me? I'm done, but I win. So that's what they did. وَلَمَّا بَرَزُوا لِجَالُوتَ وَجُنُودِ. Imagine Jalut is like 9 feet. He's a giant, big dude. Nobody could defeat him. When they saw him only, they dropped from 800 to 300. Now, the one who kills him, Allah mentioned his name for that reason. قال وَقَتَلَ دَاوُودُ جَالُوتَ. يعني out of all the 300, there is not an adult who kills this person. La. He made, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the killing of the giant, the leader who scares everybody, upon the hand of a 16-year-old. Why is that? So he could teach us a lesson. What's the lesson? Ali ibn Abi Talib, he slept in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's bed when he was 18, 19, 20 years old. Usama ibn Zayd, he led the army to defeat the Roman Empire when he was 18 years old. Ma'iz and Mi'waz, 9 and 10 years old, killed Abu Jahl. If you look at the history of Islam, it is always based upon two things: the wisdom of the adults and the elders, and the strength of the youth. Most of the people who became Muslim were youth. They were young, but they carried the mission of Islam in their hearts. We today, we go to the gym, we work out, we carry, mashallah, we grow muscles, but then with the first strike, if the light goes off, everybody runs away. And we get so scared from the little thing. Can you guys turn the lights off because the masjid is a little dark? What's going to happen if the masjid is a little dark? But these people, Dawood, and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَآتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْمُلْكَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. Allah, because of what he did. This is one of the reasons. Allah chose him. But one of the reasons is the heart that he carried and the mission. At a 16-year-old, defeating an army of giants, for sure he could carry on the mission on and on. He will pass every test. If we could pass the test that Allah puts in our ways, wallahi, we become more successful. If we could intentionally work for the deen of Allah, not for ourselves, the deen will have victory. If we could let go of our ego, arrogance, show off who I am, if I am in this position or not, if I work ikhlas, if we could factor all these together, bring all these elements of Talut and Jalut, wallahi, our life would change. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our life better. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our work solely for His sake. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in our time and effort. Wa sallallahu sallam wa baraka nabiyina Muhammad. Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah khairan wa see you tomorrow inshallah.